Good morning, dolls, and welcome to Little Gretchen's Workshop. So now I'm turning my attention back to the Aunt Shirley Dollhouse, which will soon be the new dress shop location. So this is the kitchen area, and I'm playing around with a few pieces of furniture that I feel like will be roughly the same size as the appliances and things that I'm going to put into this space. Now, this is just a little dresser that I actually was using as the counter for the Dress Shop Dollhouse showroom. And I do have a sink here that needs to be assembled, so I'm going to just put in the box in here just to see how much space it would take up in the room. And this cabinet is representing the oven or stove. Now I expect to have a refrigerator or ice box in that corner. And I also need to consider some options for storage. Now I do plan to put some corner shelving, but I will need some type of work table or area where the dolls can cook and mix things on. So to bring it fully functional, there are quite a few things I need to consider. Now I do want to do a few quick measurements because I got a question from one of you precious dolls, Dooner Wolverton 3121, asked what were the dimensions of the rooms in the Aunt Shirley dollhouse. And I've never actually measured. I actually have probably never measured any of the rooms in my dollhouses. I just kind of consider the space based on the furniture that I want to put in. So let me give you some dimensions. So for this kitchen space, the dimensions are 13 inches deep and 8.5 inches wide, which if it was in life size would be 13 feet by 8.5 feet. Now this little corner area is where I'm envisioning the open shelving that I want to put on the wall. So I need to grab a few more pieces to see how I can configure things in this room. So I've got this lovely base cabinet, and it's actually, I believe, it meant to be like a built-in, but I was considering turning it into a cabinet and adding legs and things to it, but I'm not sure how that'll work based on the dimensions, so I have to see. And this is another little cabinet that was recently given to me by my friend Carol, and it's a built-in as well, but I was trying to figure out again how it could be used in the kitchen. And the reason why I'm pondering it so much, although I'm not a purist when it comes to things in my dollhouse, kitchens in the old world didn't have a lot of built-ins, and this looks a little bit modern, so I don't know if I'll be able to use it the way I originally imagined. Now, I have considered using it as more of like a craftsman style cabinet, so that's still a viable option, but I want to consider everything because it's a specific type of look I'm trying to create. But I really do like the height and the fit, how it sits in the space. Now, I have a few other pieces in my stash, but I guess I'm playing around with these pieces because I was really excited about getting them. You ever have something you just want to use it, and this may not really be the project, but because you like it so much, you just want to use it. But I may need to let it go and save those items for another project and go with what I really need for this space to create the specific feel and look that I keep seeing in my mind's eye. Now, although my main focus is for the kitchen, I kind of simultaneously think about the dining room as well because I think the two rooms are related because they both involve food and serving. So I'm going to go ahead and do the dimensions for this one as well. And it turns out that it's exactly the same size as the kitchen. But the funny part is it seems smaller mainly because of the limited amount of light in the room due to the small window and the fact that it's only one window. So I'm definitely going to have to do some optical illusions to create more space in this room to make it look larger, playing around with the placement of mirrors and creating a window treatment that's more dramatic. So let me show you what I mean about the window treatment making a difference. Now this is an old window treatment that actually was in the bathroom of my original dollhouse, and I'm changing it out because it kind of took up too much room in the bathroom. But for a room like a dining room, it would be quite beautiful because it actually is hitting the floor. It looks more grand. It's making the window appear as though it's bigger behind the curtain, and it's actually not, but it makes your mind think it is because the frame is bigger, it's higher, it goes to the ceiling, and the bottoms of it are puddling. Now, I wouldn't really use it in this room, although I may use it temporarily just so there'll be something in here. But I am going to create a window treatment that's a lot more interesting so that it'll pick up the colors in the wallpaper. But you can see how just putting it there makes the room look different. It actually kind of plays tricks with your eyes. So now that I've played around in here a little bit, I can really hone in on what I need to create or pull together to make these rooms look the way I want them to look. But let me show you something I got. Now, dolls, this is just a quick unboxing. I ordered some things from my really dear friend, Becky Christian. She has a lovely eBay store called The Happy Little Home. You definitely need to check it out because she has some really nice and some very unusual dollhouse things that you just don't see everywhere. So let me just show you what I got because you know, dolls know I make a lot of my food things, but I really like to have a mixture, not just things that I made, but other things that I've collected or purchased from other artists. And she has a very unique selection of things. Plus, she was having a sale. And she included a sweet little gift. And look at that, dolls. It's red cherries. I almost thought it was tomatoes. And I have a video out there where she sent me some very lovely things at Christmas time last year, and it included so many wonderful items, including some lovely, lovely framed family pictures for my dolls, and I will leave a link in the description for that video. And she makes wonderful replicas of those iconic tin signs that were so popular back in the day. This is so precious, Becky. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I think this little sign will go perfect in the new kitchen. So let me show you, dolls, what I ordered. So among the wonderful things she had in her eBay store were these adorable jars of honey, and I needed one jar for each of my doll houses. Isn't that lovely, dolls? Look how realistic that looks. I'm sorry, dolls, I called it honey, but it's actually a peach preserve. And this square one is absolutely beautiful, but it is a strawberry preserve. And I really like the idea that this one has a square jar. Becky, I absolutely love these. The quality is excellent. And I think they'll look absolutely adorable on my little breakfast room table in the new dollhouse. So let me go ahead and put these things away because I have an incredible urge to start playing. So I'm going to put these away among the things that are to go into the new Dress Shop kitchen. Now, as I mentioned before, I had some concepts that I was working on for the new kitchen, and this is what that little cabinet piece looked like before I removed the sink. Now, this is the sink that's on top. It's pretty shallow, but I do like the faucet. It does look a little bit modern though, but here I am trying to use a tool to lift the little sink off to see what else I can do to it to make it look a little bit more vintage. Now, this type of counter that has the overhang on it again looks very, very modern. Although I didn't show it in the video, I did heat this piece up with my blow dryer, using it like a heat gun to soften the glue so that I could remove the countertop. Now, the wood under the countertop peeled off a little bit, but not so much that it damaged the integrity of the little cabinet. And although I'm not trying to use the countertop, it's really in good shape, just has a little glue left over from the sink. But I'm going to play around with these little pieces to see how I can use them in another way in the house because I think they're really nice and they're good, in good condition and really good quality. Now, dolls, as I mentioned earlier, I already have a sink. I need to consider a work table and a refrigerator. But these pieces I'm pulling together because I was considering making a stove. Now, I've never made a stove before, dolls, but I really do have enough materials to put it together and, as you know, lots and lots of scraps. So I'm going to ponder that idea as well. With all this talk about the kitchen, let me show you this. Now, as I sorted through some of my kitchen accessories, I thought about this little clock that I just recently enhanced in a previous video, but I wanted to make it look as though there was glass over the face of the clock. So I added a little bit of the dimensional magic, and I'm using a toothpick to gently push it out to the rim of the clock. Now, originally when I got it, it was the color of the standard Chrysnbon plastic, but I painted it black. So I thought the black looked a little bit more interesting and stood out more. And I think by adding the dimensional magic, it's going to make it look a lot more realistic and authentic. Because I really want this kitchen to be very warm, quaint, and cozy. Now I'm really excited about this because I had quite a few kitchen accessories saved for the original Dress Shop kitchen. Plus I can add it to all my new little treasures for this kitchen. So dolls, I'm just going to pull out a few of my things and play for a moment. Now here's my little clock, and I'm really glad that I painted it black because I think it's going to be a really nice contrast against that light wall. And these are the chairs that I had for the original Dress Shop kitchen. And then that lovely table that I just got and I cleaned up and enhanced it that my friend Carol gave me. I think it'll work perfect in this kitchen. And then I have this lovely set of handmade dishes that were made for me by my dear friend Nessie at Nessie Monster Crafts. And here's my sink. It's all assembled, and I will share how I assembled it in another video, but I just had to bring it in just to see how it fit. And it fits nicely in that corner on the other side of the window. And there's my little broom. And I will leave a link in the description for when I made that little broom. This house is kind of big. I'll probably need a couple more brooms, but I just love doing kitchens. Now this little cabinet is really not for a kitchen, but I think it's a nice height and it's got storage under the little cabinet. So I'm thinking about changing the color, repainting it. But this is exactly why you have to play dolls, just to see what works, to see how things fit, and whether your dolls will be able to move around comfortably. And it also helps you to know what you need to create, because sometimes things don't fit the way you imagine them. So just taking the time to play for a little while opens you up to new ideas and gives you a clearer vision for what you truly want. Now, so far, I really like the way these look, but I have to consider I need room for the stove and the refrigerator. Oops, it looks like the dolls have brought more boxes in and they're starting to unpack, so I better get out of the way. Now, dolls, if you've enjoyed this video today, definitely let me know in the comments. And I truly appreciate you all for being so patient with me. I've been so behind, but I'm going to have some time soon to respond to each and every comment. And until then, I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode of Little Gretchen's Workshop. Bye-bye now, dolls.